a mulligan when you miss and you get to take the second. So you just took a mulligan, didn't count the first one in the moon, hit it to the moon. Thank you, Stu. I appreciate it. Yeah, welcome to Coast, everyone. I'm Edward Lawrence, in for Neil Cavuto. Strap on. This is going to be a wild ride with a jam-packed show ahead as stocks look to close the month in the green. Some of the major stories we're watching this hour. The CDC has a new warning about the Delta variant, and some fear this could lead to more restrictions. Then a new prediction on housing. What has St. Louis Fed President James Bullard worried about? I just spoke with him, and we'll fill you in. Plus, a big lineup ahead. Arkansas Congressman French Hill on calls for Congress to extend the nationwide ban on evictions. Former Detroit Police Chief James Craig on the push to combat rising crime coast to coast. And Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis on why she's worried about the Beijing Olympics. Not the Tokyo, Beijing Olympics. But first, our top story this hour, all eyes on the CDC as the agency is expected to release the data they used to justify mask recommendations. Fox News correspondent Mark Meredith is live at the White House. We're waiting on the science on this. Where is it, Mark? Where's the science?
Edward, good afternoon. Well, that's what we're all waiting to find out. At this moment, President Biden's getting ready to meet with a handful of governors to talk about wildfires. But most people are focused on that different crisis, the pandemic, and the latest CDC guidelines, which means millions of people will be required to wear masks again indoors. The president says these new guidelines are because so many people are still not vaccinated and because that variants of the virus are still spreading rapidly. To get things under control, the White House is going to be doing a few different things here. One, they're asking for employers to take part of a federal government reimbursement program to make sure people get paid time off to go get vaccinated. They want states to provide $100 in incentives for people to go get the shots. We know that the DOD is looking to examine when the vaccine can be mandated for armed forces, but federal workers as well as federal contractors, they're going to be required to prove either that they are vaccinated or they are going to have to submit to regular testing if they are not. And while each community will decide its own rules, the White House knows it's likely to face major pushback against these new guidelines.
Here, I know it's frustrating. I know it's exhausting to think we're still in this fight. And I know we hope this would be a simple, straightforward line without problems or new challenges. But that isn't real life.
Later today, we are expecting the CDC to release more information about what guided its latest decisions. The White House insists it's following the science and not fear, but there are some lawmakers that fear this is a slippery slope here, that we're going backwards, that the White House may be going too far after telling people only a few weeks ago, remember the 4th of July, that the country was very close to ending the pandemic. The president says he still believes it's possible that the FDA could grant full authorization to these different COVID-19 vaccines by this fall, but no exact timetable given. Edward, as we've been talking about, a lot of people may be holding off on the vaccine until the FDA gives its final sign-off, but obviously the White House is trying to do all it can to encourage people to go get their shot. Edward?
Right, yeah, the vaccine and the CDC recommends, so this is giving ammunition to some of those states and cities to then go ahead and re-mandate those mask mandates. Mark, thank you very much, Mark Meredith from the White House. So the UK now starting to see those COVID cases plummeting, raising questions on if the rise from the cases of the Delta variant will peak sooner than expected here at home. Joining us now is K-Rock Consulting President and CEO, Dr. Kevin Campbell. So is it a flash in the pan? What happens next?
You know, what we have now is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, unfortunately. Had we done a better job getting Americans vaccinated, we would not be in this fix right now. So I think we need to focus less on who wears a mask and much more on getting that vaccination rate up, in my opinion.
You know, it's interesting. This Delta variant is affecting unvaccinated folks in terms of going to the hospital and death. The vaccinated, the vast majority, I'm understanding, are not going to the hospital here. So is that a case that vaccines are actually working in this case? And then does that argument mean, I mean, you know, the flu also gives people the cold. We don't wear masks for the flu.
I could not have said it better. We know that when you have one vaccine, you're about 67% prevented from having the Delta variant. But with two, you're almost 90% unlikely to get the disease. And if you do get it, it's either asymptomatic or it's very mild. The vast majority of people going to the hospital and dying with severe COVID-related illness are those without vaccine. So I think there is no question we have to do a better job. The data is there. Vaccines are safe.
Yeah, is the data there, though, for wearing masks and reimposing these mask mandates? What do you feel?
So here's the way I feel about masks. If you're unvaccinated, absolutely you need to wear a mask. If you are vaccinated and have a high-risk condition, you have cancer, you're immunosuppressed, you have lung disease, heart disease, kidney disease, you probably want to wear a mask. However, the government and the CDC says they have data, but yet no one has shown us the data on using masks in fully vaccinated people with respect to the Delta variant. They haven't shown that yet, so I'm a little skeptical.
Yeah, Dr. Kevin Campbell, I appreciate it. You got to figure people can be smart and make their own decisions.